Hey there, everybody. So, video number 3 now. I keep getting phone calls. I just turned the phone ringer off. Yeah, it's been a suck. It's been kind of a crappy. A little bit. So this is the new apartment and new review. I was gonna do. I still have to work on reviews. Reviews I played in my grandma's games I played in my grandma's basement. But unfortunately, I haven't been able to get to it. And I figure I have to do something for this week, so I decided to do I was watching a lot of stuff so recently, so I decided to do that. Actually, might have started a new installment called Reviews I Did in the Hospital, because legitimately, on about 4 days ago, okay, this sucks. Okay, moved in, everything went good, everything's going good, got my new place, laying down, sleeping, everything's better, it's quiet, way quieter, no problems. It's a little bit smaller, but, brand new this, brand new that, everything's fixed up. I'm getting into a cleaning pattern, everything's going great. Go to reach for something when doing my groceries, crack. My back gives out. First it's numbness, then it's just agony, and the agony gets worse and worse and worse. So I'm like, I go, okay, I gotta lay down. I go to lay down. No, not gonna happen. My back had been, I don't know, I guess because I had to keep going because I was in the middle of packing up my groceries. I hear crack, I'm done, I'm on the ground, pain as hell, life sucks. And I can't do anything, and I start shaking, and I start this, and I'm done. I'm just totally and utterly done. So I had to get an ambulance ride, which that's going to cost me money. I had to go to the emergency, which that cost me money, and spent 5-6 hours there. Sitting in a hallway. At one point, I'm really happy I didn't have to get a room. I'm really, 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 really happy I didn't have to get a room. I'm hoping I got it now. I'm pretty much laid up. For the last 4 days, it's been hell. I've been like, it's sort of do anything, sit down, do stuff, set up stuff, anything like that. It's just hell. The only reason I'm able to do a review is, simply put, my computer that I record off of is in my bedroom, and I like the fact that I can prop up a couple pillows, sit, just kind of get that forward motion. I got a glass of what I'm gonna drink for today. Got everything set up in a way that I can just lay down, relax, and do the review and talk, or whatever I'm gonna do, review or chat or whatever I'm setting up. So, yeah, I was actually kind of like, yeah, this is easy for me to do. And yeah, I can still do reviews, but it's hard to play video games when you can't properly sit up for more than 5. I was debating about putting some stuff in my bedroom and just running off my bedroom, because I've been basically laid out. Today was good, but I don't know how long I'm going to be in this much pain. It sucks. Everything hurts. Moving hurts, walking hurts, everything hurts. So I've been laying here pretty much on my back, watching stuff, watching whatever I can watch on, whatever I can get out there. And so I've been watching a little series I actually am kind of surprised about, and this series is Steve's Universe. Honestly, this is the series that I can call my brony series. I really didn't expect to like this series. It looked kind of kiddish. I was like, I had seen a little bit of it, and just the bits and pieces I had seen, I was like, oh, I'm not going to like this series. And it just holy crap, was I wrong. I actually sat down and started watching this series, and it's amazing. It's really well done. I was shocked by it. At first, the series, to go on the base, I'll give you the base story. It's the star of the show is Steven, and he is basically a half human, half, I guess, magical being, or I don't know if you can call him a magical being that they're referred to, magical race of beings called gems. And he basically, his mother was Rose Quartz, this like super powerful magical woman, and basically her and her three friends that she found, which their names are Amethyst, Garnet, and Pearl, basically formed this group called the Crystal Gems. You know, her very close personal friends. And they live on Earth, and they've been protecting and guarding Earth for a long time. Now, Steve is basically, due to the fact that, I guess, Steve was born, his energy, I guess whatever he is, he's become a hybrid of that. Rose Quartz is now gone, and the three crystal gems, the last remaining three crystal gems, have to take care of him. And they're basically trying to teach him how to be a crystal gem, which, you know, is hard for him to do because he's also human. So it's kind of this weird hybrid story of like, what do you do when you're the only being that exists? And I love this series. I love the fact that Steve is such a nice character. Like, usually in series like this, like if this was an anime, you know, Steve would be such a freaking downer. Steve would be like, you know, I am the chosen one. Shit. Seriously, that happens a lot in series. I am the chosen one. Oh, shit. I have a magical destiny. Especially in superhero comic books. I don't know if you've noticed that lately, but superheroes are like, you know, oh, I'm a superhero. I must brood and, you know, be like, kind of like this, like, downer human being character that's like, oh, I'm such a downer. Oh, you know. It's like, fucking grow a sense of humor, superheroes. Like, shit. I must always brood. You know what? It kind of, like, it annoys me. It really, it really does. Because personally, I'm like, shit, you know what? If I had superpowers, I would be, like, I've said this before. If I had superpowers, one, I'd probably be an evil fuck determining on what type of superpowers. You gave me psychic powers, I'd be pissed. Two, it wouldn't bother me that. Like, if I had the Wolverine power or, like, the healing factor right now, I would be having fun with it. I would be having so much fun with it. It's not even funny. Like, I would have a hell of a good time. You know, skydive without a parachute. Uh, you know, it's not as bad, like, cause I don't think Wolverine, that's the thing. Wolverine feels the pain, but, like, he recovers so quickly, it's like, you know? Like the new Wolverine anyway. You know, like look at Deadpool. Deadpool's a great example. He loses an arm and he's like, oh well, I better put his arm back on. Who? Ow, 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 ow. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly right. And this is the thing about Steve. It doesn't change who he is. Steve is generally a nice kid. You know, like, and that's what I love about Steve. He's such a nice character. I enjoy him as a character. And he does remind me of a child. And actually, I have a theory actually about Steve. I think Steve might actually be way older than we think, because of one thing and one thing only. I think Steve, because here's what happened. I was watching one of the episodes and I noticed he had an N64. It looked like an N64. Then in later episodes he has a GameCube. How does he still stay the same age? Because, like, the differences between those systems, he would be a lot older. So, and there is an episode where he actually grows older and younger. I think it's called Many Birthdays. And that's what I think This is where my theory comes in. I think Steve actually is way older, way older actually than he actually seems to be. That's kind of a cool power, by the way. Being able to grow old and yeah. That's kind of a neat power. At first, the series really does seem to kind of be very kiddish, but there's a lot of interesting stuff in here. Like there's some dark stuff in here for the beginnings first season. Fryboy is wow. Okay, they have this mascot character who actually screams out in pain. They kind of like bring this thing to life, and this like mascot. Okay, I'll give you a layout of the story. I apologize. Steve goes to visit one of his goes to visit and pick up some fries. He loves fry bits, so he goes and picks up a thing of fry bits, and he sees one of his friends, Petey, who works at the local fast food fry store. He goes and he actually is like getting attacked by seagulls. He's wearing this mascot and he doesn't want to wear it. So Steve's like, well, I found, Pearl had these magical gems that can actually make like turn linen and stuff into like a living entity. So he actually gives him one of these crystal shards. And so they put it in the Fryboy, and the Fryboy comes to life and goes on the rampage, and Pearl goes to stop him. And so Pearl throws her spear into into Fryboy's eye, and it bleeds. It bleeds ketchup and mustard, but it bleeds, and that is pretty crazy. Another thing that was really funny is Steve actually he turns all his clothes, including his underwear, into a living weapon to attack, which is also crazy. I never thought they'd actually do that. For something in a kid's cartoon, that kind of blew my mind. Another thing that's really amazing about the show is, for some of the silly names and character stuff, the characters have really interesting backstories. Like, Amethyst, Pearl, and Garnet all have really amazing backstories, really unique and different backstories. And each one of their personalities kind of suits that. Like, I would say Garnet's almost like your stern, tough, like a little bit like a badass, best way to put it. Amethyst is kind of your goof off, Joker type character, and Pearl's kind of reminds me. Actually, she is a very caring person. I actually, out of all the characters, I like Garnet, but I like Pearl as well. Maybe it's because I love the voice. I don't know. I like Pearl. I like Pearl as well. Pearl and Garnet, Amethyst. I know too many people. I know too many women that are like Amethyst in real life. They're kind of. I guess that's going on. I think that's what's going on there. I know way too many Amethysts in real life. And each one of them has a different way of looking at stuff. Actually, each one of them cares for Steve quite a lot. And he builds a huge rapport and an emotional rapport with all of them. And it is like almost like this weird family that he kind of like is a part of. And in a sense, it's weird for them because they're alien. They're very, very alien. Like, they have a different way, almost like... first of all, they don't actually have real bodies. They actually have like these almost light bodies. So that right there is totally different. Second of all, they have different ways of like relationships and stuff. For instance, it's a purely female society. There are no males in their race. So the way they're created is very different from the way the way Steve is. So Steve being a boy, it's kind of an unusual relationship. The other thing is the way they care about people are a little bit different. Like, they live for thousands and thousands of years, so their love and the way they care about other people can be so... It's really different. Like, and it actually, for good writing, it actually shows this. and shows it very well how these characters do care for each other and move and transcend travel with each other and how they involve. Steve also has a dad who's Gary, I think his name is. I might be wrong about that. But Steve's dad's there too, and Steve's dad's kind of he is totally a goofball. He owns his own car wash, but he lives in a van. That is so weird. That's so very weird. Another great thing about this series is the singing. They actually do like little music video type things. And at first I was like, I'm not going to like this for that singing. But wow, is the singing really well done. I love the singing in this series. It is great. It is actually very enjoyable. And actually, one of the best songs in the series so far, from what I've seen up to a certain point in season 2. I don't think there's any more new episodes right now. I'm waiting for new episodes to come out. Is the song in Jailbreak. I love this, and I've actually did some little bit of research and found out that I think all the female voice actresses for the Crystal Gems are singers. So that's kind of cool. Like, and yeah, that song that Garnet sings in the middle of the fight sequence is amazing. I love it. It's just perfect. Like, if they ever come out with a music CD, if they actually do keep going with this and have a lot of music that they do, I'm so picking it up. If that ends up on iTunes, I will pick that up. If that ends up as a song, I'll pick it up. It's just an amazing song. Absolutely love it. And the series itself is really well done. I'm surprised. The storyline is getting more in depth, more dark, and everything, like all that silly stuff I thought when I first watched the first season. It was like, oh, this series is so silly. And, then I'm like, wow, this series actually has way more than I thought it would be. And it is slowly progressing into something amazing. And I'm really interested to see how many more seasons come out. And I'm really I'm really enthralled by this. This is an overall good series. I'm hoping to see season 1 DVDs or even more like DVDs start coming out for this series. That's how much I think this series is awesome, and I hope I see more. I'm giving this series a rating of I'm going to say a 7.8 because it's that good. I think it's a solid series from what I've seen up to this point. Really good, and I hope to see more. And yeah, that's my review of Steve's Universe. I'm very happy to be in my new apartment. It's actually a lot quiet, way quieter. Kind of funny because I'm right next to the right next to the exhaust pipes. So I constantly hear a low hum, but hey, that's a lot better than what I was dealing with before. And hopefully I'm not laid out on my back and I can actually do more stuff. I'll start working on Metroid today or tomorrow. I'll finish up Super Metroid. I got halfway through it, so I'm almost done. So anyway, have a good one, guys, and I'll have another review for you guys shortly. See ya!